I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. Hey guys, if you like what I'm doing, click the Amazon banner at the top of the homepage on FascinationStreetPod.com and do all of your shopping through Amazon. Once you click on it and it takes you to Amazon, you can bookmark it or add it to your favorites and you won't have to go to my site each time. It helps me keep the show going, and again, thanks for listening. Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Malcolm Brickhouse. Malcolm is one of the founding members, the guitarist, and the singer for the heavy metal band out of Brooklyn, New York called Unlocking the Truth. A special thank you goes out to Alex Bronson of the Jean-Marc Express for helping me put this thing together. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. In this episode, we talk about the unlikely founding of a heavy metal band by a couple of kids out of Brooklyn. Listen to find out why it's a little unlikely. We also talk about their rise and some of the really cool things that's happened in their young career. These kids are only 18 years old, and they've already had a documentary made about them, a book written about them. They've already had several national commercials with huge companies. And they've gone on tour with some of the biggest bands in the world. Plus, they were the youngest band in 2014 to play the Vans Warped Tour, and also the youngest band to play at Coachella that same year. Malcolm was nice enough to let me play a couple of songs during this episode, so pay attention. And don't forget to reach out to him and the band on Instagram. So enjoy, folks. This is my interview with Malcolm Brickhouse from Unlocking the Truth.
Yeah, talk to me.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Malcolm Brickhouse. How you doing today, Malcolm?
I'm good, and you?
I cannot complain, man. It is a lovely, lovely day here in San Antonio, Texas. Where are you at right now?
I am at my house where I reside. I'm in Brooklyn, New York right now. It's really hot. We just had a heat wave, and there's no power right now. So
no power?
No. So I'm in a car right now, charging my phone and all this. I'm getting AC from the car, so
oh my
I'm not
gosh.
right
That is so crazy. Well, I really appreciate you going through all that just to make this happen, man. That means a lot.
No problem.
Thank you. So, were you born where you are? Born and raised in what, Brooklyn?
Yep, born and raised Brooklyn, New York, and Flatbush.
Oh, Flatbush. Now, how old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
All right. So that number is really small for what we're going to talk about. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about so everybody listening, Malcolm is in a band called Unlocking the Truth. And he's one of the founding members, and that's going to be mostly what we talk about today. So, Malcolm, who else is in this band with you?
Right now, we have Jared Dawkins and Alec Atkins. And we might have a surprise member coming, but we'll see about that.
Huh. Will it be a surprise to the other member or just to us?
To you guys right now. The member, we're testing the waters right now.
Gotcha. Well, so what got you particularly interested in making music initially?
Music is always universal. And I was introduced to music at a very young age. It was hip-hop and all that kind of stuff. But then, after a while, I turned around 6 or 7. I started watching anime and wrestling, and in those shows and stuff, I would hear rock music in the background, AMV, which is animated music videos for anime. There's a bunch of rock music and a bunch of metal and all that kind of stuff. And my mom kind of, she's very proactive, and she wanted to find things I was interested in. So she tried me out for magic, so many different things, and she got me a guitar, and it made sense because I'm getting into this heavier kind of music, which is not the norm, and I was a guitar and that just goes so well together. And then I was best friends with Jared, who's he's kind of a family acquaintance. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of weird, we're our family members are close. He started coming to my house on the weekends. He already played drums in the church, so me and him, he played the drums, and I'm learning how to play the guitar. and we both are like into the metal music because we're both watching wrestling. We both want to be wrestlers. We're young. We just want to try everything. We're mad young. We have like a wild imagination, so we just trying anything we can. And we just started a little band, and then after a while, things took off by themselves. As time goes on, my mom and dad like find like first my mom hears us and she's like, yo, this could be like something bigger, like, you know what I'm saying? She hears it, she's like, wow, like there might be something here, like, even though we're young, she sees something in it. And then after a while, she put us in Times Square and all that kind of good stuff. My dad recorded the videos.
What does that mean, she put you in Times Square?
Well, my mom and my dad like found a permit so that we could perform, because the first place we performed was the Apollo Theater.
What?
Yeah, but for amateur night. It's not like we headlined it. It was for
I don't care.
That was our first show.
The Apollo is a huge proving ground for everything from comedy to musicians. I mean,
Yep.
That is amazing.
And we won the first round. And like, there's 4 different rounds at the Apollo. So if you go one round, you win. You have to proceed to the next round, and it goes on, until you win top dog. And then you win like I don't know how much money it is, but you win a certain amount of money, whatever. But we lost the second round. We were really pissed, but like, we started taking small shows. And then my mom, my dad had the idea to put us in Times Square and try to get recognized that way. And it just so happened to work because my dad would record the videos, random other people record videos. And, right now we have 2 viral videos from those days. So maybe a couple more. I'm not even sure. It's probably like 3, 4. I'm not even sure.
So at that time, you're performing like on the street?
On the streets of Times Square.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Now, I have been to New York 3 or 4 times, and every time I'm in Times Square, I mean, there's got to be 2 million people just walking around in Times Square. So
yeah,
what did it feel like to play to such a huge audience? I mean, I know they didn't pay, and they weren't, probably 2 million people weren't staring at you, but lots and lots of people heard you. So what was that feeling? How'd that feel?
honestly, like, it's kind of weird playing rock music in front of people. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm pretty shy. I don't know. Thinking about it, it's a little scary, You don't know what people are going to expect from, like, honestly, 3 black kids, little kids playing metal music. But, like, people are very attracted. And we made good money throughout the day because we performed from, like, we were almost, like, 10 hours a day. We made a good sum of money, And we get an hour like practicing, playing 10 hours a day. So from like Saturday to Sunday, it's pretty cool. And it was cool because we would get like pretty large, not like a whole concert, but like pretty large crowds would come and watch us. Meet a lot of cool people. It was a very cool experience, very humbling.
So you were making tips?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had a little bucket and it would get full.
That is so cool. Very cool. Now, 2 times already you have said that it is not the norm for you to be into and or playing rock music or metal. Now, did I hear you say that that Unlocking the Truth consists of 3 black kids?
Correct.
And so that's why it's a little unusual?
Correct.
Gotcha. So, that being said, how do your friends who are not in the band, your other African-American friends, how do they, like, what is their response or their reaction to what you're doing?
The thing is, before, I think people did not understand what we were doing. Actually, before, like, I even got into, like, the band, I was already, I was probably in the band by this, like, I was, like, wearing nail polish, paint on my nails, like, really being my own individual. I didn't, like, really necessarily fit into, like, with everybody else, so just on my own type of timing. And people are not used to difference. And, like, we're very young. So, like, my peers weren't, like, ready for that kind of change. They're, like, they're not worried about being different at that moment in time, like, So, but now, as my music evolves through, like, my culture and different experiences and what I listen to on a regular basis, my music is changing. And it's changing into what my fellow African-American friends like. And I'm so proud of that.
In what way?
In what way?
Yeah, in what way is it changing to be more in line with what your friends are liking?
I listen to a lot of, like, hip-hop. And, like, so as the years went on, I changed. I didn't change, but, like, my music taste changed. And I started listening to less metal music. It just didn't appeal to me as much. I also like the fact that, I made metal because it's different and unique. I was able to shape my music into something that's me. I don't know how to describe it. So it's definitely metal influence, but there's like a lot of soul and hip hop and like it's very, I don't know. I just know it's my kind of music, you know, and it resonates with me and it resonates with a lot of my other friends. So like if my friends are outside, they'll randomly play my music and I think it's uncomfortable. I'm like, why are you playing rock music in front of these other people? But like everybody seems to, people are starting to like it. So I'm proud that, you know, because a lot of the time I wanted my friends to like be able to understand me, but I've grown to a point in my music where they naturally do, and I don't have to force them. I've just grown as a musician, took, you know, from what I knew when I was younger, from what I know now, my different experiences, and made it something that we could all like. I think that's pretty cool.
I think that's really cool, too. So if you were to describe your music, you would say that it's rooted in heavy metal, but then you're bringing in maybe some hip-hop influences as well?
Exactly. Yeah, actually, like, I think it's rooted in a lot of different things. I think metal comes from a more white culture, and since I'm probably the only black person that probably listens to this, that like me, Jared, and Alec, were like the only like people in our circle that are really listening to it. Like it's just gonna come out different by like default. Like you know what I'm saying? Like especially when you grow into your own artist, it just naturally transforms into whatever you know your experiences have molded you into. So it's rooted in a lot of different stuff. It's definitely metal influence, but I feel like the same amount of influence from metal, like it could be just as hip hop influence or R&B influence. So it could be like R&B, but with a metal twist on it, or it could be metal with an R&B twist. Like it could be either or.
Nice. So you, according to the internet, and I don't know how true this is because you're only 18 and it's 2019 right now. So according to the internet, you formed this band in 2007. That can't
Correct.
be true.
I promise you, we were young. I'm very young. I told you. My mom was trying to get us into lessons and all that kind of good stuff. And we really started the band there. We were having our wild imaginations. And our band started from just being kids and having fun. And my mom allowing us the space to just, you know, have fun on the weekends. And she, you know, she bought me guitars, a little cheap drum set. And we would just like play along to like our favorite bands, all that kind of good stuff. And that's technically when it started. And then we continued. And the first, Apollo happened in 2012, but it did start in like, you know, 2007. That's when we like got the idea to start the band.
All right. So in 2019, America as a whole does a lot of trying to force our kids into different boxes and to fit in different categories.
It's horrible.
And I think that what doesn't happen enough is exactly what your mother did, which is to find, you know, sort of throw a bunch of different interests at you and find the one that you like the most and then push you toward that and sort of support that endeavor.
I'm so happy.
Big ups to your mom.
Big ups.
Shout out to your mom. What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Annette Jackson.
Annette, well done. That is amazing, and it's not done enough. So tell all your friends to do that with their kids.
Yes, you should.
That's really cool. So how long I think it was you and Alec that started it first?
Me and Jared.
Oh, sorry. So how long before y'all added Alec?
Alec was like 2013. Because we had like a singer at the time. Like, because we were instrumental for a while, but so we had a singer, and then like, you know, things just didn't work out, you know, I don't know. We were young, so it doesn't really matter. Things just didn't work out with him. We're still cool with him to this day, but, you know. And then we got Alec to be a singer, but, like, you know, it just worked out that he's a better bassist than a singer.
That's
and
funny.
Then, you know, and I used to write the lyrics for the singer, so that's how I became the singer. I was, like, kind of, like, put into the place, you know. We got signed in 2000, I think 13 or 14, I'm not really sure. And they needed a singer because, you know, like, an instrumental band is pretty hard to blow up, and I was already writing lyrics to these instrumental songs. So, like, after a while, I just put myself in this position, and, you know, practice makes perfect, and I'm still learning.
Hey, streetwalkers. Well, you're not literally streetwalkers, but now that I've got your attention, I am Stephen O'Reilly, and I have a podcast called The Bar Star Podcast. And since you're listening to the Fascination Street podcast, I think you should check out my show. It's just as interesting without all the famous people, because Steve has connections that I just do not have. But If you dig podcasts about music, working musicians, and other random shit that I decided to talk about, based around music, of course, because that's what I do. I'm a working musician for the past 30 years, then you need to check out the Barstar Podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcast, on any platform, and make sure you check out barstarpodcast.com. Now back to the one and only Steve Owens and whatever the hell he was talking about.
So, you brought it up. In 2014, your band was signed with Sony Records, right? Or Sony Music?
Correct.
Now, in 2014, you're, 14 years old?
2014, I'm 13.
13. Okay, so what in the holy heck? How does that even happen? That, it's so, are all of y'all roughly the same age?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does it happen that 3 13-year-olds are signed by one of the biggest record labels in the world?
I don't know why, but we're so, I guess the Times Square videos, I'm assuming. I guess it had to be the Times Square videos. And I know my mom thought it was a fake call. I forgot how she was convinced that it was real, but they flew us out to California. We had a little showcase and all that. I think they flew us out again, and then we got signed. But the band is like so nonchalant. I don't know, like me, Alec, and Jared I don't know, we just breeze past things. It seems like a big deal to you guys, but like we're like 13 and like 12 and don't really realize how big of a deal that might be. Realize how hard other people might have to work to get to this place. So like we're just like, oh, interesting, we're getting signed.
Yeah, I would imagine at 13, you're like, well, I guess this is just naturally what the next step is, so we'll just keep
it's not that. I realize how hard it is now because right now we're like rebranding ourselves. I think before it was just a bunch of hype that we're like young and black, and now it's time to really prove that we could actually make music that can make an impact on the world.
Well, I think that's really cool too. Now, also according to the internet, because you guys were underage at the time y'all signed that contract or were offered that contract, the contract had to be approved by the Supreme Court of the state of New York.
Yes.
Did you get to participate in any of that? Like, did you have to go to court or anything?
I don't even remember, to be honest. I don't remember at all.
To a lot of people, this would be like the most important thing that ever happened in their lives, and you're like, I don't really remember that
at all. Like, I really hated like meetings and stuff like that. Like, I really just had fun just making music and performing in front of people. I don't know, all the business stuff, so much. It was really stressful for me.
Well, I would imagine. At that age, it's just like school. You're just like, can we go to recess now? Because I'm tired of listening to this person talk. That's funny.
Too much.
So, you guys, somehow or another, have been able to open for huge bands like Guns N' Roses, Motorhead, Queens of the Stone Age, Marilyn Manson, and my personal favorite on this list, Living Colour.
Yes.
How did all of that happen?
Well, Jesus. Oh my gosh. Living Colour. So we met Vernon Reid. So we were so there was a show called Totally Biased and Kamal Bell. And that was his show. And as a surprise, there's a show, it used to be a show on Comedy Central. And as a surprise, they brought Vernon Reid to our house. And I'm not sure how they did that, but they did it. And there's a clip on that on YouTube. And you can see how calm we are. Like, it's like, for some reason, we just don't act surprised for some reason. And, for that, my dad, like, we were front stage at one of the concerts at Irving Plaza, and my dad threw, like, a business card on the stage, and he picked it up, Vernon Reid. So, I had no idea how to get in contact with us, like, at all. But we did meet Alex Bronson through Living Colour, because he was their tech, I think, the guitar and bass tech. And we needed a tech for Warped Tour. And that's how we got him. That's how we met Alex Bronson, through Living Colour.
Now, speaking of the Warped Tour, Unlocking the Truth was the youngest band to perform at the Warped Tour in 2014, right?
Yes. It's crazy. And we got to, like, see our favorite bands. We got our favorite bands watched us. Like, it was crazy.
I think in the same year, you were the youngest band to perform at Coachella, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys have had some massive exposure to tens and hundreds of thousands of people nationwide. So Is the band still relatively unaffected? Like, are you just like, well, I mean, that's cool, but
It's cool because it doesn't really mean anything unless you're like putting out music that means something. I think it was just more of a fest. I don't, in all honesty, like I just don't like the fact that, like as I'm older now, I can look back on it. It was cool. It's definitely a cool experience. But like, I can't have that now. Like I can't perform Coachella right now because like, it doesn't mean anything. Like it's just a novelty, in all honesty. And it was just pretty cool to just see three black kids play. But it's just time to prove that we mean something more. So like, I just wait until the day that people get to see that, you know, my music, I'm trying to influence the young culture to like rock music again, you know? So until I could see that, that would mean more to me than performing in front of 10,000 people that just like us because of three black kids, like cute kids just playing metal. So it was all cool and all, but I have something to prove now.
to who? Everybody or yourself as well?
Myself, I don't know. Even at the time, even when I was performing at these places, I still felt like left out, and my peers still didn't understand who I was. So like you can imagine us performing at these places, but like when you get home, like you're just, you know, it seems like, oh, that kid is still weird, blah blah blah, doesn't matter, blah blah blah. And the fact that the same kids that say that listen to my music and like think I'm the coolest kid now is like, it's way better. Like, so I'm proving it to myself that I was able to grow this much. I could take what I used to do and make it my own, and really like not make it for others, make it for me, and realize that I have the power that it's music is way deeper than just three black kids playing metal, and it should be that. I shouldn't be popular for just, you know, the image. There's like an emotional connection behind, you know, it's way deeper than that.
I understand that. Now, you said that you, I think you said that you're the main songwriter.
Correct.
So I'm assuming that means lyrically.
Depends.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a subject I should not touch right now.
Okay, well, when you do write lyrics, what do you personally write about?
Well, back in the days, I used to just write about whatever I heard other metal bands talk about. Like, you know, I have a song called Monster, just I'm a monster, that's what you told me, baby. Like, corny lyrics to me. Just made up stuff, heartbreaks and all that kind of stuff. Now I write about, I guess, heartbreaks, but like, I write about other life experiences I had. So there's a common theme now in my music, and it's like a story, and I didn't realize this until recently. So I'm working on a new album right now, because we have one album out, it's called Chaos. People could go get that right now. And we released 4 singles. We just released a single, I think, probably a week ago, called Pretend. But we're working on this new album, and it seems like a common theme. So there's like a storyline behind my music that I realized. And it's just like, so there's me and a girl, and we are like in like a relationship. It's like a bad relationship, and there's like drugs involved. And like, we're trying to find each other through all the like BS that's going on. And like, you know, that seems like a common thing. That we're in love, but there's like so much, we're trying to escape the world, and we're like horrible ourselves, but it works for some reason. Like, if we just try hard enough, it'll work. And like, there's like, that's like a story throughout the music. I don't know how I came up with those ideas, but that seems like a common theme.
Interesting. Where can people find that first album, Chaos?
iTunes, Amazon, anywhere. It's on CDs and it's digital.
Oh, okay, cool. Everybody scroll down to the show notes of this episode, and there will be an Amazon link to get that album, Chaos.
Fire.
Now, you mentioned that you guys had released a single like maybe a week or so ago called Pretend.
Correct.
Now, it's okay if you say no, but can I play that song?
Of course.
Okay, great. Thank you. Would you like to introduce it right now?
Of course. Pretend was made probably about a year ago. Overall, that song is just about, it seems that I create my own madness, but at the same time, the person creating it is the same person that's solving it. So, you know, I just go back and forth, not being able to make my mind up. And, you know, at the same time, everything comes back together. So that's what that song is about. And the song is called Pretend.
All right. Thank you. Here it is, guys. Pretend by Unlocking the Truth.
ain't forget about me. And if I don't, it's suicide. Cause who am I? No one inside, but never mind. Cause you and I. Seems I never make my mind up. That's just how it's always been. Peace of mind is where I'll wind up. Tell me how it's all pretend. I'm speeding through to be with you. Even you can't see me through. The number of times I tried, I never can see your right. The memories in my mind are falling through space and time. When I look in the mirror and finding itself couldn't be any clearer, but you put me into this. Then you saw my ignorance. I thought I never end. And being you was all I knew. Seems I never make my mind up. That's just how it's always been. Peace of mind is where I'll wind up. Tell me how it's all pretend. I'm speeding through to be with you. Even you can't see me through. The number of times I tried, I never can see your right. The memories in my mind are falling through space and time. I never make my mind up. That's just how it's always been. Peace of mind is where I'll wind up. Tell me how it's all pretend.
Now, you guys have also been in a bunch of commercials. I think y'all have done, right? Y'all have done music for commercials and stuff like that, like Beats by Dre.
Correct.
And other stuff like that. How did that come about? Do y'all have an agent?
I think at the time we probably did, but a lot of stuff was just coming in through my mom's email. We had like a Lock and the Truth email address, and that's where everybody hits us stuff from. And everything was really coming to us for the most part. I don't think we ever went out to get stuff like that. Everything was really just handed to us.
And so your mom is kind of the, I guess maybe the gatekeeper or something for stuff like that?
Yeah, very much.
Oh, that's cool. Man, you should write a song about how supportive and helpful your parents are.
I literally have a song called Mama.
Oh, you should. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's out too, so they can go hear that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a single. It's the last single we dropped for like a year, and then we dropped for 10. So yeah, I give props to my mom. We have a crazy relationship. You can imagine, a momager and then a kid trying to figure out like trying to make sense of all this. But it all makes sense. I'm growing, she's growing. It's all good.
That's amazing. Well done. I wish I had a relationship like that with my mom growing up.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting dynamic right here.
So enjoy that for sure, because that may not last forever.
It's a blessing.
It's definitely a blessing. Now, I guess there was a movie about you guys, like a documentary film?
Yep.
Now,
Breaking a Monster.
Again, how did that happen?
Jesus. Okay, so one of our first viral videos, I don't know which one went viral first. I think this one probably went viral first. Avant-Garde Diaries. I think it was a car company. I'm not sure. But we worked with Luke and Tom, who are the directors of the film. And they did like this little video of us for like 3 minutes, 3-minute video. They wanted to, I think the video went pretty viral. Like, I don't know, like 1 million views on like, what's that website? I can't think of it right now. It doesn't really matter. But they wanted to continue it. And during the process of them continuing what they were recording, we just so happened to get signed. And all the craziness that you're talking about happened to be going on while they started the documentary on us. It just so happened that, they wanted to keep going and all this cool stuff is happening. They wanted to capture it on film. So in the film, you get to see this whole process go on.
And where can people find that?
See, it used to be on Netflix, but after a while, things expire on Netflix. So you can go find that, like, you might have to buy it now. You could buy, like, on iTunes, Amazon, anywhere pretty much that you can buy movies. I have no clue. But it's definitely on Amazon and iTunes, for sure. I'm sure you can find it other places, too. Just Breaking a Monster. Type it up online. It'll be somewhere.
Nice. Are you still involved with previous guest of the show, Alex Bronson?
Yeah, I'm still involved with him. We haven't seen each other as of recent days, but we definitely keep in touch.
Gotcha. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out, but when he was a guest on this show, he actually did shout you guys out. He told everybody to go check you out because you kids got a lot to show and are doing great things. So
yeah, he's a pretty good mentor. He's pretty tough on us. So I know he cares, but yeah, he's a good mentor. He used to allow us to practice at his house for a while, and he doesn't take any BS. So he's really helpful. He if we're acting up, he just tries to make us the best people we could be, the best band we could be as tight as possible. Because we're kids and we're figuring it out. So he's pretty good.
That's awesome. You said you have a new album coming out?
I don't know when it's gonna come out. I know we're gonna release more singles. We're working on the album.
Gotcha.
But we also have a lot of singles that are ready to be released. We just got to find the right timing, do some planning. That's about it.
Very cool. Do you have any shows coming up?
Not right now. Just working.
Cool. Now, I think that you said right now there's 3, but you guys are potentially about to add a 4th member. So that's cool, and I'm not going to ask you any more about that because, that's some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Keep it a secret for now.
Yeah. Let's just all assume that it is Vernon Reid. Now, I'm going to assume by your silence that I was 100% accurate on that. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. So where can people go to find out more about Unlocking the Truth?
You can go YouTube. You can go watch the documentary. I don't know if this book is still being sold. We had a book made.
What?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's just so much going on.
Tell me about the book.
Oh, wow. I haven't been asked about the book in a long time. So the book, I'm not going to lie, I didn't read it myself, but I know it's about us. And I feel like the documentary probably tell the same story, but I remember having deep interviews and we're telling our story, different things, talk about relationships. We talk about, our family life. We talk about a whole bunch of different things, different perspectives, how we felt performing at different places, all this kind of stuff. So it's basically like a more in-depth look at our career than the doc. It's like the documentary, but more in depth. Yeah, it's a book. If you have kids, if there's kids out there, it's a good book for them because it shows that you can be young and do what you want to do, and there's hope. Just have fun. Very inspiring story. So yeah, it's good for kids. It's more of a kid book.
Oh, cool.
Inspire.
Do you remember the name of the book?
Jesus.
It's called Jesus?
No, I said Jesus because I can't even remember the name. It's definitely Unlocking the Truth. I know our band names on the cover. I'll have to. I'm sorry.
All right, no worries. No worries. I'll find it. That's really cool. So, do you guys have a website, an Unlocking the Truth website?
UnlockingTheTruthBand.com.
Nice. And where are you personally on social media? Where can people find you?
Malcolm.Brickhouse. Every C in my name is replaced with an X. So that's on Instagram. Every C in my name, Malcolm, MALXOLM. And then Brickhouse, instead of the C, is BRIXKHOUSC. So there's a dot between the Malcolm and the Brickhouse, and that's on Instagram. And that's all I really use for social media.
Okay.
And Unlocking the Truth.
Does Unlocking the Truth have a Instagram as well?
Yep, Unlocking the Truth. Just like that.
Oh.
No spaces.
Very cool. Well, I know that you're sitting in your car during a massive heat wave and power outage, so my apologies. But
that's all good.
Before I let you go, is there anything that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about that you wanted to talk about?
If anybody's struggling, like any struggling musicians, not even musicians, I think our youth in mental health, I think that's a concern. And I just want people to know there's places you can get help and that there's people out there for them. And we'll be okay. We're young, we're figuring life out. And, you know, life is okay. Life is okay. More music to come. Yeah, all that good stuff.
Kick ass. Oh, I did want to leave you with this. There's a movie that I saw last year. I think it was an independent film shot in New Jersey called Patty Cakes.
Okay.
Where the last S, I think, is a $. And what that is about is, it's not a documentary, so just know that. But it's about a heavy-set white girl in New Jersey who wants to be a rapper. And she ends up putting together a band with her and her Pakistani friend. And then they add an African American guy who is like heavy metal.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, particularly, you know, with you being an African American into heavy metal, but then also bringing into some of that hip hop influence, I think you might enjoy that movie. I loved it. My wife and I watched it about 4 times and bought the soundtrack, and it was really cool. So give that a shot if you get a chance.
I definitely will. I'm going to watch it today.
It's really, really cool. They did great with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Man, thank you so much, Malcolm Brickhouse from Unlocking the Truth.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out of your crazy crazy day to hang out with us and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. No problem.
I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Alex Bronson for helping make this happen. Thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate you, man.
Shout out to Alex Bronson.
All right, Malcolm. You have a great rest of your day, man. Take it easy.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.
Mama said, boy, sing from your soul, so I'm gonna try. You always let me blow when I'm outside. The day you finally let me go, am I gonna fly? Or will I die? Make sure I'm alright. You're everything I ever wanted. You're everything I ever needed. You're everything when I don't want it. You're everything when I don't trust the soul. I guess that's been
as always, thanks for listening, Streetwalkers. And don't forget, follow the show on Twitter at FascinationSTPD, on Instagram at Fascination Street Pod. Follow the podcast page on Facebook at Fascination Street Podcast. And of course, you can always email me at fascinationstreetpod@gmail.com. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and rate us on iTunes. For the next 3 months, everybody who rates and reviews the show and sends a screenshot to fascinationstreetpod@gmail.com will get a free surprise gift mailed to them. Every single one of you. So do it. Thanks, Streetwalkers. Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2014 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is Apollo from the 2001 album Into the Known by the band Sapphire. Thanks for hanging out with us and getting to know a little bit about our guest. We'll see you next time on Fascination Street.